Hi, this is Merrill with Tax Tutor. I wanted to talk a little bit about trouble at the IRS. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe buttons below. So what is going on at the IRS? It's a little bit of a mess there, to be honest with you. Due to COVID, they shut down their operations last year for several months. When they shut down their operations, they were already several months behind opening mail. When they shut down, it was during tax season, and so they continued to get more and more and more mail in, and since they weren't opening mail, it all just went into trailers and was being stored. They've now gotten back to work, and they're opening all those letters and all that mail and working through it. The reality is that there were returns that were timely filed in 2019, so returns that were filed a year ago, that the IRS is still processing. They're still working on opening those returns and still processing those returns. Some of the issue is that some of those were filed by paper and they now need to physically open those and process them manually. And some of those returns just needed to be manually processed for some reason or another. Manual processing means that an IRS employee has to look at that and process that return physically. And so we have 2019 and 2020 returns that are still being processed. The backlog right now is 16.7 million returns the IRS is behind on in processing. So that's why we're seeing delays in refunds, delays in the IRS responding to letters and other correspondence. We have clients that have gone 6, 7, 8 months where we've sent a letter into the IRS trying to resolve some issue or another, and we continually get letters back from the IRS saying we need more time, we need more time, we need more time, and it's just dragging on and taking a very, very long time. So the IRS hopes to have all the 2019 returns processed sometime this summer, which means they're about a year behind processing tax returns right now if they're still doing 2019. So hopefully they can get caught up on 2020 returns. That they have no timeline for catching up on the 2020 returns. They're just hoping to get our 2019 returns caught up sometime this summer. The other issue that we have with the IRS is the phone center. So we've gotten clients that are getting notices, they're not sure what's going on, they're getting refunds that are not matching their tax returns, they're getting notices and other letters and correspondence from the IRS that we're trying to respond to and work through, and we can't get a hold of the IRS to talk to them. I've tried calling the IRS multiple times. If you've tried calling them too, we probably all get the same response where they say that they're having a large number of calls come through and they're not able to take calls at that time, and they hang up on you. There's no way to get through. I've had to call that number sometimes 20 times in a row to get through. Yesterday I tried that. I tried 20 times in a row. Kept getting that message. I just couldn't get through. I had to give up at one point and move on to other things and try to call them back another time. This year during tax season, they received 85.1 million calls. They answered 3% of those calls. So 85.1 million calls means they answered 2.5 million calls. So 2.5 million is a lot of calls to answer, but when you've got 85 million calls coming in, yeah, you're falling far short. To put that in perspective, in 2019, the IRS received 7.3 million calls compared to 85. And then in 2020, last year, they received 12.1 million calls. So in 2019, it went to 7 million. In 2020, it went to 12 million. So it went up quite a bit then. And then this year, with stimulus and coronavirus and everything else going on, it went up to 85.1 million calls. And again, 3% was answered. So there's not a lot we can do. We are at the mercy of the IRS and their schedule and when they get to things. And so it's causing all sorts of issues. Some of the issues with the mail is that when we tried to e-file extensions, some of those extensions would get rejected, so we would send an extension in the mail, which generally wasn't a big deal. They would open those, they would process them, and mark the return as extended. So we mailed in the extension, and then we went and e-filed the tax return. The problem was that the IRS received the e-filed tax return before they processed the extension, and then all of a sudden the clients are getting notices saying that their return wasn't extended, and now they're getting penalties on not extending their return, which isn't correct. So then we try to call them and then we can't get a hold of them. So then we try to send a letter and it's going to take them several months to open a letter. So you can see it turns into a vicious cycle with the IRS there. where their delays are causing more and more and more problems. So if you're having any of these problems, any of these issues, just be patient is all I can say. And hopefully the IRS works through that quickly and we get things caught up and going back again. So this was some of the trouble that we're seeing at the IRS currently. I wanted to get this out just so people understand what we're dealing with there. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button below.